Good Friday afternoon, everybody. BAM weather meteorologist Brett Waltz here, giving you a BAM live forecast update streaming to Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube. If you have any questions, be sure to save those to the end. We will get to those. Feel free to tweet us with the hashtag BAM live hashtag. We are happy to answer any questions you may have at the end. Today, we want to start by taking a look at this major winter storm that's beginning across the Central Plains right now. We've also got severe weather across the deep south. If you take a look, this is our custom in-house weather radar that is available to our clients. It has lightning technology, alerts you of any severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings, anything like that, that can help keep you prepared for any events that you may be holding. This is a great tool if you have any events, if you work for a golf course. This is a really good tool to have in your arsenal. If you look very closely here, you can see that we do have range rings around a specific radar site 10, 20, and 30 miles out that can alert you of how close that lightning is getting you. And again, this is just an invaluable tool that we have for our clients at their disposal. Going into the weather now, you can look and see we do have snow ongoing across southeastern portions of Nebraska right now. This system will continue to ramp up as we work throughout the day today and into tonight. You can also see here that we do have rain ongoing across the Ohio Valley. We actually had some areas pick up 2 inches of rain across southwestern portions of Indiana today near the Vincennes area, near Evansville. Indianapolis has picked up about 1 1/10 inches of rain already today. We're about at a third of what we've already seen just so far this winter, just in the past 12 hours. So it's certainly been a very wet start to the day. Let's go ahead now to our slideshow for today after we're looking at that radar. And let's take a look at a new feature that I wanted to talk about to you all to give you a more interactive feel. We'll get this video pulled up for you here real quick, but actually, it looks like we're gonna start with our climate report. Some technical difficulties here, no problem. Trying to get this video to come up. Here we go. All right, so this is our photo of the day. Facebook page, you can see Indianapolis, Indiana, beautiful sunset. One of the things that we want to offer to you all and to keep this live stream very interactive is for you all to send us your photos, your best weather photos, so it can be featured on our live stream every day. So again, send us those photos, messages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anything, any social media site that we have, and can perhaps feature your photo on our live stream. So just a cool little and interactive thing that we'd like to do with you all. Wanted to start off this forecast with the winter climate report because there's a couple of interesting things to note. Of course, right now we are the 5th warmest winter on record for the Indianapolis area. We're 4.8 degrees above normal so far this winter. I do think that there can be a little bit of change there. We're going to talk about this as we work later into this forecast, but take a look at precipitation. So far through yesterday, we're at 3.55 inches of precipitation winter to date. This is through January 9th. There's a decent chance that we're going to see that much just from last night and through tomorrow, just over a 2-day period. So we're probably going to double the amount of winter rainfall that we've seen so far. And it has been a decently dry winter so far. 31st dries, that's not going to be the same this time tomorrow. So just an interesting little tidbit there. As we move on, here's a look at our current hazards map. We'll go back here to that last slide. We've got flood watches in effect all the way from Texas up towards the Missouri and Illinois area, through the Ohio Valley, even into Michigan. We've got flood watches in effect. Meanwhile, there's also winter storm warnings in effect. So just a wild winter storm ongoing here with both heavy moisture, heavy snow, and a lot of precipitation going to be ongoing here. So we look up to our north. This is the area that we need to watch for that winter storm. So we're talking about some areas receiving 6 inches plus of snow across portions of Iowa, Wisconsin, and then into Michigan. And we're also going to be dealing with freezing. And of course, we will touch on that throughout this forecast. Here's a look at your simulated radar. We are not done with the heavy rain here just quite yet across portions of the Ohio Valley. Let's see if we can get this to loop here. It doesn't seem to want to loop for us, but we are going to see additional rainfall across the Ohio Valley. This system is going to ramp up over the next couple of days here. And I do think that we actually have a decent line. Can't get this thing to, there we go. There we go. I do think that we're going to have a decent line of precipitation that's going to work off to the east, especially as we work into tomorrow for the Ohio Valley. I think that along this line, there could be some thunder. I also think that we're going to be dealing with some very strong wind gusts. I think that wind gust of 45 to 50 miles an hour throughout the Indianapolis area cannot be ruled out as this line moves through tomorrow. And then of course, we're really going to ramp up the snow across portions of Wisconsin and Iowa as we work into tonight and into tomorrow. And then take a look, another portion of this system, we do have a moderate risk for severe weather for the Dallas area, down towards northern Louisiana, towards Little Rock. And this is going to be a severe weather threat that is going to bring perhaps tornadoes and a widespread damaging wind threat. So if you are in these areas, if you have family and friend in these areas, please be sure to let them know to keep their weather radars on, their apps that can alert them of any potential severe weather. Just be sure that they have NWS alerts on if there's any tornado warnings or anything like that. We do have a slight thunderstorm threat here, especially as we work into tomorrow. You can see that slight risk working all the way up just south of the Louisville area, an enhanced risk for the deep south, where once again, they will see some damaging winds and yes, perhaps some supercells with some tornadoes. So a very active, severe weather time the next couple of days for this time of year. We also have the ice factor with this system. This is a look at our ice map that we sent out yesterday and this morning to our clients. I think that portions of southern Michigan are going to really deal with a dangerous ice storm. Power outages are going to be possible, especially with those gusty winds. Some areas up towards Grand Rapids and Bay City could see up to an inch of ice, which just puts so much pressure on those power lines. We are going to be dealing with major issues there, as well as in portions of northern Illinois and southeastern Wisconsin. As far as snow, I do think that there's a solid band here of 7 to 10 inches from the Des Moines area up to Madison and the Green Bay area. There's a sharp cutoff in the Chicago area. We're really going to surge in some warmer air into portions of the Chicago metro area and southeastern Wisconsin that is going to really cut down on some of those snow totals. And as far as for us here in the Indianapolis area, I do think that we are going to stay snow-free, maybe a couple of flurries or a brief coating up in far northwestern portions of Indiana. The big story for us here in the Indianapolis area is going to be the rain. If we take a look at our rainfall map just over the next couple of days, you can see we've got an additional inch or two of rain coming for much of the area. In fact, some areas down towards southeastern portions of Missouri seeing another 3 inches of rain just over the next 24 to 48 hours or so. So if you've got flooding issues, if you live near a creek or a river, I think that the reason these flood watches are still in effect is because we still have so much rain to go. And I think that flooding could be a concern over the next couple of days. Before we move on here, I do want to look and get to your question. Before we get to your questions, I do want to take a look at our storm track for late January. So this is a big change. We've been dealing with this big upper level ridge of high pressure across the southeastern United States, warm air, rain across the Ohio Valley. I think that changes as we work into the last week of January. If we take a look here at our storm track, I think that low pressure systems are going to be much more common across the Tennessee and Ohio Valley. I think those snow chances are going to increase from St. Louis to Cleveland to even the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic into New York and into Washington, D.C. And I do think that we are in a battleground across the Kentucky and Tennessee areas where I can't rule out the risk for perhaps some ice storms. I do think that is on the table. The risk we're going to run with this is that you can see here, you've got your northern stream, your cold polar jet stream to the north, and you've got your subtropical warmer jet stream to the south. I think the risk we could see with this is that if these two lows don't come together here near St. Louis, if they come together more around Columbus, Indianapolis could be left on the drier side. That's a big risk to the pattern. Of course, we do have some snow chances we're watching in the extended range. This is the latest GFS model. It's trying to pick up on the phasing of that storm system right over Indianapolis in the Ohio Valley area next weekend. So I believe this is next Saturday and Sunday. Obviously, we're 8 or 9 days out. This is not a guarantee. Do not take this to the bank. But this is something that we're keeping a very close eye on because the patterns something more wintry as we work further into your January. So believe that may be the last slide there, so we can open the floor for any questions you may have. Obviously, it's going to be a very rainy weekend if you're heading out to the Indiana-Ohio State game tomorrow. We've got a little bit of a rivalry here between and Vince in the office. He went to Ohio State, I went to Indiana, so we'll be watching that one closely. If you're driving down there tomorrow, certainly looks like a rainy commute. So we'll open the floor to any questions, guys. Feel free to let me know if you see any questions from anybody. I'll take out my phone here just to see if anybody has any good questions. So you guys, Michael says he hates Ohio State. I don't hate Ohio State. I save that kind of feeling towards Purdue and Kentucky of the world. No offense to any of you all that are fans of those. My grandparents are big Kentucky fans, and I love them just the same. So any questions?
I haven't seen any on Periscope yet, bro.
Trying to take a look at Twitter. When will it get cold and some snow in Indiana? I think that probably the last 10 days of the month or so, probably the last 10 to 12 days of the month are going to be much better for colder risk and for snowy risk across the Ohio Valley. We're going to see a little bit of a cold front behind this system, but we're going to warm back up right after it. So it's going to be a little while, but the end is near.
Colder weather through February, or is it staying warm?
I still think that especially the East Coast to the Ohio Valley has some cold risks through February. Based on some of the research we were doing today, I think that if you're further west, perhaps there's some warmer risks, but I do think that there's plenty of chances for cold and snow to close out the winter.
How windy is it going to be?
I do think that we can see some gust of 45 to 50 miles an hour. If you're further north, probably more like 35 to 40 miles an hour in the Chicago area.
South Haven, Michigan area for ice. I came in late.
All right, well, we can go back here to our ice forecast just so you can look at it. There is areas, if you're near Grand Rapids, I'm not exactly sure where South Haven is.
Michigan.
Southwest Michigan. If you're in far southwest Michigan here, you're on the line where you're probably going to get mostly rain. You can see the second county up is where we're going to have to watch for that accumulation of up to 1/4 of an inch of ice, and then that third county is where we're going to have to watch for amounts of up to 1 inch. So if you're in that area, certainly need to watch out.
Data seems to trend colder for late month, but how high is the warm risk?
That's a loaded question. I would say that compared to what the December warm risk was, it's much lower. Okay. I mean, would you agree with that, Michael?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Will the bitter cold that's in Canada reach the Kansas City area? Cattle calving starting soon.
I mean, it's not going to be as cold as what it is in Canada and Kansas City, I don't believe, but I do think that you can get probably a good 5 to 8 or 8 to 12 degrees below normal in that area for the week 2 period, which is, I think the 18th or so to the 24th of January. All right, let's see any other questions streaming in here. Will we have a spring, or go straight to summer? I do think that we spring here. I think that there's a time in March it could be a little bit colder, but based on our spring forecast, I do think that there's some decent spring days in there. Whether those are filled with rain or not, I will let that to be determined. MJO right now is starting to work into phases 6 and 7, going to be working into those colder 7 and 8 and 1 phases as we work beyond day 10, which is, again, the reason for our cold forecast to end the month. Let's see. Sounds like winter is running late this year, Diane. Yes, it has been running very late, 5th warmest winter on record right now. I would say it is late, but better late than never. All right, let's see. Northern Indiana getting any snow. Northwest Indiana may be able to get a brief little coating on the backside, but I don't think that it's going to be much more than that. All right, any other questions? Are we going to reach the 25 inches average of snow this year? I don't know. We may. We've got a little bet going on here in the office. Right now, Kirk and Michael are already out. Just got to point that out. But next 4-inch snow, I'm going to stick with my January 24th prediction for the next. Please do not take that verbatim, but that's my prediction, January 24th.
Take it to the bank.
For the next 24 for the next 4-inch snow. All right. Am I ever going to have my blizzard this year? No guarantees on that. All right, I think that is good for today. We'll leave you with our total snowfall accumulation map for this weekend. Feel free to keep commenting on Facebook, and of course, send those photos in. We're going to feature those photos on our live stream starting next week. We would love to get those for you. So if you have any great weather photos, especially with all this wild weather going on the next week, whether it be flooding, lightning, anything like that, we'd be happy to feature one of those photos on our live stream next Monday. Hope you all have a great weekend, and please stay safe out there with all the flooding and, of course, winter weather up to our north.